Welcome back to Michael Kittle Rare Coins, everyone. We're here with another PCGS submission unboxing video where we're going to take a look at a bunch of really good coins, see how PCGS graded them, and hopefully they did grade them all, because every now and then we get some no grades back or some problem coins. But what we have here, I already have it unboxed. This was a PCGS drop-off submission. I dropped it off at their office and I went and picked it up. So they don't actually put them in the mailing box for us. We just picked them up just like this. I have not gone through the coins yet. I wanted to save that for when I got home and filmed it with you guys. So 3 boxes this time. I believe there were 54 coins on this submission. All US coins, some pretty cool stuff. And they gave me this box too. The PCGS 35th anniversary gold box. They gave me 2 of the black boxes, but they gave me 1 cool box with the order, so happy to get that. But without any further ado, let's see what we got. Let's see what this submission was all about. 1931 S MS64 red, Lincoln cent, key date, semi-key date. I think most people would say semi-key date. Low mintage, but a lot of people did save them, so there's a lot of nice ones out there, like this coin right here. Now, you'll see that we did the PCGS Secure Plus grading like we usually do. That means we have high-resolution TrueView photos of each coin, which in the editing process might be on the screen right about now for you guys to see. Next up, we got another 1931S, and this one's MS65 red, a point higher than the last one. Adds quite a bit extra value, and this one just does look a lot nicer. The other one, the luster was a little bit more muted. This one is stronger luster, more even red color all around. Definitely a gem, uncirculated red, and nice coin. 1926 Lincoln cent in PCGS MS64 red brown. Tons of original red color remaining, just a hint of the brown color though. Almost full red, almost, but just shy I would guess. This one here, 1929 Lincoln cent. Unk details, well, yeah, it's a nice bright red example. Probably, I thought it was going to be a red-brown. They're saying questionable color. And usually when they say that, they think somebody artificially brightened it up to make it more red than it should be. I don't know. I don't see it myself. Maybe when we take a look at the high-res image, which you guys should be seeing on screen by now anyway, maybe I'll notice something and maybe I'll agree with them. But for now, I don't. 1930 MS65 red, Lincoln cent. Nice bright red, uncirculated. No problem there. A 1940 proof 62 brown. And that's not a bad coin there. Not a bad coin, 1940. Anytime you get to the pre-World War II proof sets, they're in more demand. And this one's got a little bit of color to it, a little bit of toning, but only a 62 though. Only a 62. There's actually a little bit of rub on the high points there. Somebody handled it a little bit or mishandled the proof. They wouldn't give it a details grade for that, so they just give it a lower proof grade. They kind of give a little bit more leeway on a proof than they do on uncirculated coins. 1919 San Francisco Lincoln cent. This one too, uncirculated details, but questionable color. The reverse looks awesome. The reverse looks like a nice high-grade brown, probably a 64 brown at least. The obverse, yeah, it just looks a little bit off. There's like muted luster on the right-hand side. Yeah, I don't know. I might have even said altered surfaces now that I look at it again. Questionable color, I guess, doesn't matter. Whatever they call it. Didn't get a grade. 1919 Denver in MS63 brown. And you can just tell looking at this one, it's actually just got better luster for a brown. It's just a nicer overall coin, and it deserves to get a numerical grade. The other one, side by side, when you look at them in graded holders, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to make a call like that. This one here is interesting. A 1933 Lincoln cent. Unk details, and they say residue. Well, that's interesting. Now, if they meant PVC residue, they wouldn't put it in a holder at all. But there says some kind of residue on this coin. Well, okay. Maybe we'll be able to see it. I can't see it here just with the naked eye. I don't see what they're talking about. Maybe when I have the close-up image on screen, like right now, maybe we'll all see it. Again, I'm editing the video like this to make it go faster. In prior unboxing videos, I'd show all the coins, then I'd go back and then show all the photos again, and they ended up being an hour long or 45 minutes long, and it was just too much. And 1933D is the next one we did. This one came back MS62 brown. Now this one looks a lot like the 1919S that came back questionable color. It looks very similar in appearance. I don't know, but they called this one a 62 brown. They gave this one a grade, they didn't on the other. Go figure, go figure. How about a 1925 Denver MS63 brown? That's nice. It looks about that. I mean, it's a little bit of a weak strike, like a lot of these are in this date range, and it's a nice coin. No major spotting, no major issues. 1918 San Francisco AU53. I was hoping probably to get an AU58 on that one, but they gave it an AU53 instead. Oh, awesome. Yeah. That's fine. This is a beauty. Wow, okay, great. That came back straight graded with a good grade. Happy about that. 1873 Philadelphia. This is a low mintage issue. Trade dollar. AU55. And I know there's a little bit of color in the protected areas. I hope that shows up in the high-res TrueView photo when we put it up on screen, because I've looked at this coin under a loop, and there's all kinds of fun hidden in this one. And yeah, to get a straight grade, it would have been awesome to get an AU55, but AU58 is a winner. Not a winner here is the 1871 seated dollar, which came back XF details cleaned. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of these have been cleaned, and I guess you want the grading company to grade them accurately. If you're going out there buying a coin at auction and you buy an XF40 or an XF45, you don't want to get a clean coin, you know? So, I mean, it's fair, but it's close. It's close to being able to be straight graded. I mean, it's got a very light old cleaning, I would say. Maybe it's just a little bit too bright. A little bit too bright there in some of the areas for them to give it the blessing. Yeah, probably if we let this thing sit and age another couple decades and get a little more dark gray, less of an issue. But it's still got the XF details. It's still a desirable coin. Somebody was going to probably buy that coin and crack that out, and it's going to look great in a typeset album. 1876 San Francisco Centennial Year, seated $50 in XF40. Awesome. Awesome. This one's got a little bit of color when we tilt it just right in the, I don't know if we can see that in the light. Just beautiful color on the reverse especially. Nice type coin. Everybody likes the 1876 year too. 100th anniversary of the United States. AU details cleaned on the reeded edge. Capped bust $50. Bummer. Bummer. Well, it's nice to get the AU details, which it deserves. It's strong detail all over it. Cleaned. Ooh, well, I don't know. I mean, there's really, when you look at it, it doesn't have luster, maybe that a strong AU should have, but they say cleaned. I don't see any major signs of it. I mean, maybe when I see the close-up photos, I'll spot it instantly. Maybe there's some hairlines that I'm not seeing offhand. Not in love with the result on that one. 1836 lettered edge, not the reeded edge. Reeded edge for an 1836 would be a big dollar coin. And they're saying this one's tooled. Tooled, huh? Where's the tooling? I wish they would actually point out where the tooling is when they say this, because they're saying tooled. I mean, there are some hairlines and some marks down by the date. Now that if you get it just wrong in the light, I guess, or just right if you're trying to see it, just wrong if you're not trying to see things, there are some hairlines around the date. Almost some little scratches. Like, did somebody remove a spot there at one time? I don't know, but this is a beautiful, beautiful coin. It almost looks uncirculated. Beautiful coin. Man, tooled. Well, I guess if they don't call it tooled, they would call it cleaned if they see the hairlines, or they could call it altered surfaces. I guess it doesn't matter what they call it at the end of the day. It's just, it's an almoster. It's an almoster. Here's another cleaned coin. This one I agree with. This one I thought might have been cleaned. 1834, large date with the small letters. It's just way too bright in the center, and you can tell. I mean, that's been cleaned. I'm not going to argue with that one. I mean, I'm not mad. I mean, I don't argue every time we get it wrong or we don't get a straight grade. This one just has the look of being cleaned. But it's also a beautiful coin nevertheless. AU detail. It's got a great look, but it's been cleaned. I mean, we're not going to argue that it's been cleaned. Here's another one that they marked residue. A residue. 1833 with residue. AU details. I thought this one might even have a small outside chance of being called uncirculated. Residue. Huh. Again, we don't think it's PVC residue. If it was PVC residue, they would not be putting it in a holder. They shouldn't be putting it in a holder. 1833 with residue. AU details as well. Maybe we'll see what it is when we look at the, you know what, I'm seeing something actually here. There's like, it looks like a water spot. Like there's like maybe somebody dipped it and there's some kind of residue left on the coin from a dipping or something. Or an old cleaning. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Again, they're not specific enough to where we know exactly what they're talking about. Last coin in this box is the 1833. This one is cleaned AU detail. This one's no doubt. The whole coin, there's just no luster. It's like a flat, satiny luster. It's been cleaned. The reverse is a lot better. The obverse has been cleaned. AU details is nice to get on that, though. That, again, these types of coins here, are almost always going to be cracked out someday and stuck in somebody's album, and it's going to look great, especially a typeset. If someone's not super picky or can't afford to buy like an AU55, this one you'll get for, 60% of the price, and it's beautiful. It'll look great. It'll look great. That's it for that box. Let's move that box out of our way. That's a cool gold box. I'm glad to have that. Next box of coins in this submission was here. Ooh, that's never a good sign when you open a box. No slab. No slab. Uh-oh. That means one of our coins didn't grade for whatever reason. Or maybe they stuck something else there and I'm just like getting ahead of myself. I don't know. We'll get there. We'll get there, but let's start right here. 1829 XF40, cat bust half. Awesome coin. Nice, dirty, original look. Great, great. Here's an 1827 that's been cleaned. We knew that on this one. XF details, that's actually not bad. That's bad. I mean, square base 2 is the variety on this one. It's just got a cleaned look. It just doesn't look natural. I mean, here, side by side. I don't know. Maybe you'll be able to tell more on the photos. This one almost even looks polished. It almost looks like someone took a cloth to it and tried to make it look flashy. But we wanted it in a holder. It's a lot easier to sell them in a holder, genuine, than without. 1825 XF40. Beautiful result. That's a nice coin. Yeah, nice. It's got some original mint luster left to it. Lots of life in the coin, lots of detail. A little bit too much wear to get a higher grade. Very happy with that. Here is the 1824 over 4. Came back cleaned, which I agree with. VF details. I think that's right. I think that's right. But it's nice that they attributed the variety. Again, you don't have to pay on some of these varieties. That's a major variety, the 24/4. They call it a red book variety. So if it's listed in the red book, you don't have to buy a cherry picker's guide to figure out that that variety exists. They'll grade that. You just put the right, you got to put the right coin number down, and they'll attribute that variety at no additional charge. About halfway through the submission, I'm guessing. 1858 half dime in AU53, and that is a pretty little coin. Nice and flashy. There is a big spot of wear on the high point right on Liberty's leg. That's the high point. That's where you're going to see the wear, so we knew it wasn't uncirculated. Beautiful look. Awesome type coin. Getting a straight AU grade. No problems. Awesome result. Another awesome result. This is a big win here. The 1835 half dime, small date, large 5. PCGS XF45. This one's huge because this is I was a little worried about this one. It was an album toner. It's got nice rainbow colors on both sides here. Hopefully they show nicely in the photos that I'm probably going to pop up on the screen right about now. And yeah, you're just always worried about them not liking the color or thinking there's other issues, and this is a great result, great type coin. That'll be a quick sale. 35S Washington quarter, AU58. I mean, hoping for an uncirculated grade there. Again, there's some toning. Did not see the wear. Probably going to have to look at this coin quite a bit more closely with a nice loop. See if I can find it. But, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer. Was hoping for a mint state. Here's the key date. 32S. First year of issue. Washington quarter. Cleaned AU details. Wasn't expecting a mint state. I knew there was a little bit of wear on this one. But did I know this one was cleaned? Did I know this one was cleaned? No, I don't think I did. I don't think it was cleaned. Yeah, the obverse, I mean, it's just the bottom half of it's maybe a little too bright. I mean, but the reverse looks totally original. Beautiful coin. Nice original skin. Lots of mint state luster, even though they say AU. That lower part of the obverse just looks different, doesn't it? And they say cleaned. And they're saying cleaned. Here's a nice type coin. 1853 Arrows and Rays quarter in VF25. VF's about the grade you want to get if you're on a budget, and because you're going to see all the major details. All of Liberty is there in the shield. Arrows and Rays, bold. Awesome. Nice, dark, original looking coin. Here's the proof barber dime we sent in, 1908. Came back proof 63. There's some fine hairlines on it and a little bit of cloudiness, so we knew it wasn't going to be like some crazy high grade. And when you see a little bit of wispy hairlines on a proof, especially an older proof, they're not going to call it cleaned. They're not going to call it scratches. They're just going to give it a low proof grade. It's going to be called a handled proof or a impaired proof, and that's just why you get a 63 and not a 66, 67, 68, and higher. So getting that back without any other issues is awesome. 1871. Ooh, they gave this one the cameo designation. That's kind of a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. We were expecting about a proof 63 on this 1871 proof seated dime. But the cameo designation is a nice little surprise. It's got frostiness to it. I just didn't know if it was strong enough because the fields themselves are a bit hazy. And there's some minor issues here and there. There's actually a decent scratch on the reverse here. Yeah, I guess not big enough to not get it graded, but they did only give it a 63, so maybe they took all that into account. But yeah, cameo, nice. Next up, this was a good one, and we got a great grade on this one. Yes. 1937 Denver Buffalo Nickel 3-leg variety, major variety. One that everybody wants, one that everybody needs. AU53. Of course, now looking at it in hand, always, you were always hopeful for a higher grade, but it definitely didn't think it was mint state. It's definitely an AU coin. Could they have given it a 55? Sure. I mean, it's like, but there's not enough luster probably for a 58. Oh, maybe. Could have. But 53 is pretty good. They didn't find any other issues with it. Very happy. Thank you very much, PCGS. 1917 in MS62. Well, getting the mint state grade on one of the early Buffaloes is always a win. But only a 62. So usually when you see a 62 and not a 63 or a 4, they didn't like something about the coin. That's what you got to think. So they didn't love the color. They didn't love the luster, maybe. The strike's fine. It looks great. They didn't see wear. It's mint state. So I'm just thinking they just weren't in love with something. Maybe they didn't love... I mean, it's got decent luster on the obverse. Maybe not gem luster. They didn't love something about it. And that's why and that's at least my impression of when graders give an MS62 grade. Now, when you're looking at a bigger coin like a Morgan dollar, they give the MS62 grade a lot because there's so many hits and marks in the field and all over Lady Liberty's face. It's just something about it that the graders didn't like. That's kind of how I feel they grade the 62s a lot of times. 1917 Denver Buffalo. AU 55. That's a nice coin. It's got a touch of color to it. Just a really nice example of the date. Probably sitting in somebody's album for a long time. And now it's in plastic. Here's another MS62. And this one is the 1916 San Francisco. Again, great to get a mint state result, mint state grade. And this one, I would guess they don't really like the darkness near the edges. The luster kind of breaks there, and it just it takes away some of the eye appeal. If that wasn't there and it just had the same nice look all over the obverse, this should be a 63 or a 64. But it's a 62. Here's a 1916 Denver AU 58. I mean, 58's nice grade. But when we were hoping for a mint state, I thought this one was a mint state 63 or 4. So there's a touch of rub somewhere on here that we missed, according to PCGS. And maybe there's just on the high point of the cheek. Maybe on the high point of the hair braid. Maybe. But when I rotate around the light, I don't see any major luster breaks or anything there. And it's tough to tell. It's hard to tell the difference between a slightly weak strike and wear. The graders call it a 58. 14S in AU 50. It looks about right. Again, it's got nice color. Nice original look. And we are now up to the one that didn't get a slab. They're calling this Do Not Holder. This is the 1914D Buffalo nickel, and they're saying PVC residue is on this coin. So, do I see anything? Do we see anything obvious here? Maybe some stuff in the letters of United States of America. I don't know. Really hard to tell. I don't see it obvious. Otherwise, we would have handled that before the submission. But they will not put, if they think there's PVC residue on a coin, this is from old plastic holders and old albums. The plastic, when there's polyvinyl chloride in it, breaks down over decades, and that can actually eat into a coin and damage it. So if there is PVC residue on a coin, they will not put it in a PCGS holder, because if they put this in a holder today, calling it an AU58, 50 years from now, that PVC will do stuff to the coin that'll make it not a 58. But they can't go back and change the label when it's not in their house, so they don't put it in the holder at all until that's addressed. Unfortunate. Edge corrosion. And, that's kind of what I was talking about on the other one, where just along the edge, we lost some of the luster. It just didn't look as nice, and that's why I thought they put that one in a 62 instead of probably a 64 that the coin deserved. I can't remember which date offhand, but you guys will know what I'm talking about if you've been watching this far. This one, they say, is a 13D Type 2, XF Details, and it's got the same kind of thing. It's just been sitting in an album for years and years, and I guess this one's a little more extreme for PCGS's liking, the issues along the rim, where it's just basically toning and years of toning and being in that album, and they call it edge corrosion. XF Details. Unfortunate. Last coin in the box is the 13S Type 2. And again, edge corrosion AU details. And you can see a little bit along the bottom. And hopefully they took photos that show this a little bit better when I pop those up on the screen so we can all see what we're talking about here. Again, I don't know why edge corrosion on these two and not on any of the others. It looks very similar. It looks very similar to me. At least, like I said, first impression straight out of the box. Final box in the submission. Let's get this open. We have a bunch of slabs, and I got some paperwork in the back, which I'll remove, which probably has personal information and all of our billing and all that stuff. So let's take a look. 1853, 3-cent silver, XF Details cleaned. Ugh, bummer, because this one had really nice color to it. It's got a little bit of rainbow around the outer rim. I was hoping that would, I wouldn't get like an XF45 AU50 out of this, really. Cleaned. Well, I guess that's one opinion there, and it does look, you know, maybe it was a little too bright, and then they say it wasn't retoned down enough. I don't know. But they didn't like it. Cleaned. This is a big win right here. Whoa, okay. Double die obverse. We were just hoping for a straight grade in the AU range, and AU 58 for the 55 doubled die obverse. Big coin there. This one's probably retail $2,500, give or take a few hundred. AU 58. Beautiful. Didn't think it was mint state. So not too mad at that. Of course, you always hope, well, maybe it's a 62 brown, and yeah, it's an AU 58. Awesome result. Uh-oh. We had some matte-proof Lincoln cents. Very rare coins. Mintage is only in the couple thousand each. And here's one right here, a 1912 matte-proof Lincoln cent. Proof genuine, questionable color, unk detail. So they're not saying there's wear on it, so it should, if there wasn't an issue with the color, it would have been proof 60 or higher. And yeah, I mean, they didn't like the look of it. So they're saying this has been messed with at some point, probably cleaned up, or they don't like the color. But these coins have so much more detail. Matte proofs are super rare. And very hard to attribute sometimes because they look so much like a regular mint state Lincoln cent. Bummer. Unk detail, questionable color. And hope this is, it looks like we got it's a bad sign because in that same collection, the 1915 questionable color, unk detail. Now this one, doesn't have the right luster. It did look a little bit impaired. I could see it's them coming back cleaned on it. Questionable color, which, you know, maybe that's what they're saying, is these things were dipped, cleaned, artificial color, questionable color, cleaned. It's all in the same ballpark. Speaking of, I see the next coin, the 1910 matte proof. They just called it cleaned. Okay, now this one's a little brighter, but again, it still has the same type of color, the same overall look. Cleaned. Unk detail. And the 1909 matte proof, same thing, cleaned, unk detail. Unfortunate. But these are still quite valuable, very rare coins. And cool to have some matte proofs. Be a lot cooler if they had straight grades, I don't know. Let me tell you, be a lot cooler. Bummer. So that was that's a bad result. 1908 S Indian head cent. First year, a cent had a mint mark. VF 30. And we got another one right after that. The VF 35. Couple of nice coins. Awesome. Very collectible is the semi-key date in the series. and the first branch mint cent, they call it. First cents that were minted outside of Philadelphia. VF30, VF35. Well on our way to building a grading set, one of each grade. This one did not get the good result, and this was the one that was a little bit, had more detail. Cleaned, and yeah, it's a little bit too bright for the grade. A little bit too light in color. I shouldn't say bright, too light in color. And an AU with this much detail should have some original mint luster peeking through. And that cleaning, whatever was done to this coin, kind of wiped most of that out. AU details. 1872. This is a tough date in the Indian Head Cent series, and it's a VF35. Very nice coin. Great coin. Great coin. That should go pretty quick, as will the next one. I can see it. 1872 again in XF40. XF40. That's very happy with that. Very happy with that. Not as happy with this one. Not as happy with this one. 1871 came back with environmental damage VF details. VF details. Oh boy. Oh well. Can we see what they're talking about? Yeah, maybe. Definitely on the reverse. Definitely on the reverse now. You can see it all along the right edge. Well, when I bring up the close-up photo, hopefully the photo shows it. There's some minor corrosion. Some corrosion. That, I guess, if you're trying to buy a nice coin, you want to buy a nice VF30, a VF35, you don't want that on your coin. So that's why they put them in the details folder. So they don't go out to some collector someday at an auction who didn't see the coin and surprised by that. 1857 Flying Eagle. This one came back XF45. That's a great result. Then I thought it would be VF35, VF or XF40. Didn't think it was VF45. Not mad at that at all. Very happy. 1810 Classic Head Large Cent Environmental Damage VG Details. Man, they're so picky on these. I mean, almost all of these have some spots of corrosion. I guess there's just a little too much on the reverse. The obverse is pretty good. VG details, there's just too much corrosion. And the 1810 half cent, they're calling this one tooled damage. XF detail tooled. Can we figure out where there's tooling on this? I'm not seeing anything that jumps out. Nor do I see anything on the reverse. There are some light scratches. There's some deeper scratches. And I guess anytime there's a scratch, some tool might have done it. Don't know. Don't know. It's unfortunate. Last coin in the submission, the 1809 half cent. And this one, they just came right out and said scratch. Now, is this one tooled as well? Is it the same thing as the last one? I don't know. Hopefully we can get a clearer view when we bring up the photos. I can see actually when I get it right at the wrong angle, I can see some bright scratches right in the obverse field. Most angles you don't see it, but then bam, they just catch the light. There's definitely a couple scratches there. A rotated die there too. That's kind of cool. All right, well, thank you very much for watching our latest PCGS submission unboxing results. Again, we had some really nice winners here. I mean, we had an AU 5855 double die. We got the 3-leg coming back in AU. Lots of other great coins here. The Proof Barber dime, the Proof Seeded. Had some bad results. Had a bunch of matte Proof Lincolns come back with issues. A lot of great coins. They're all great coins. We love all the coins, but some great ones, some less great. That's how it works at PCGS sometimes, but it was fun to go through all these. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. We do have more coins at PCGS right now, so we're expecting more coming back. Hope you guys join us for the next unboxing video. Until then, lots of videos out there to watch of ours. Keep watching. If you guys ever have any questions or comments or anything like that, you can leave them in the comments below or reach out directly by email. Until next time, everybody, thank you again for all of your support, and keep having fun with your collections.